Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing a kid art show. So I'm going to show you my step-by-step on how I'm doing this DIY art show for my kids. First, you'll need some painting supplies. So I'm using this kind of like dish for eggs as like a palette for them to paint. And then my son is showing you all the watercolor paper that we already pre-cut into the size that we want. So we're thinking of like these square rectangular shape. He's now bringing me some brushes that we'll be using. A lot of watercolor brushes, acrylic brushes that we'll be using of all different sizes. And then let's see, he's also bringing me a bucket of paint. So you can see I have some professional grade paint here. Those paint will definitely fare a lot better over time. There's some student grade paint, just all sorts of paint. So he's really excited and my daughter's really excited, and we're going to show you the process of how we put together this DIY kid art show. So let's get started. Here I've already pre-cut 16 pieces or 12 pieces of paper, and I also have some painter's tape here. So that's completely optional if you would like to tape down your paper onto like this plastic sheet. That way you will not have to hold on to the paper on the ground while they're painting. At the same time, when you rip off the painter's tape, you will have like a nice white frame around it. So I would highly recommend that. That's something that I learned after doing the piece. So for now, I'm just holding on to the paper while my kids are painting with all sorts of colors. My son loves to paint all around the white borders, and my daughter likes to kind of do dabble pieces here and there. So here is kind of like the dish that we picked up at Walmart that's more for food, but I thought it was really great for a paint palette. I put on like a plastic sheet on the bottom just so it will stay a little bit cleaner, because we're painting indoors today because the weather was like just a bit too hot for us to be outside. I actually encourage my kids not necessarily to fill in all the white space, but just draw in where they want to. I try to allow room for them to add texture to the piece by using different paintbrushes and different techniques. Here's my daughter who's painting with her favorite colors. I find that for my toddlers, they definitely need a little bit more encouragement about using different colors, because sometimes they would just get really fixated on one. I've also used acrylics, both professional and student grade, and I thought it was a good variation. Here is one of the pieces for my son. You can see a lot of textures that's integrated. You will find that for student grade paints, the more colors you mix into it, it gets a little bit more, how do I say it? It's like the colors are not clean, they look dirty. Whereas for professional grade, because the pigments are a little bit more pure, you will have some like nicer colors. So those are some of the differences that you will find. I also picked up some silver and gold paint. That's also student grade. And it worked out really well how they integrated it with some of the other colors, and it sparkled in different ways depending on the angle of how the sun hits the piece. So these are the finished pieces. They each got to do 6 pieces with my 2 children. And I think it really reflects on their style. You see a little bit of texture as I kind of move on different angles. After they finish the pieces, I just let it dry. Usually for acrylics, depending on how much water you add to it, usually dries between like maybe half an hour, I would say, and like how much paint and proportion they use for it. So I didn't actually let my children use water. I just got them to use paint straight out of the tube itself. And then the second part that was really fun was like getting my kids to name their artwork. So some of them were like daffodil sky, or like purple rain, or like flower 1.0 or flower 2.0, and like some of them were more creative than others. But it was really fun getting the kids to kind of name the pieces, and then I would take a picture of the pieces that I have, write down the names of it, and then I would go back to my computer and like write down like the name of the piece, the size of the piece, and I'll show you shortly once I print those out and I tape them on the wall how it looks like. So this art show installation is going to be part of my son's birthday party. So we're going to use one side of the wall at the community center where we're having the party, where we're going to showcase some of his artwork. And he's really excited. And my daughter was too, even though it's not exactly like her birthday party, but like she also wanted to join the process, so we got some extra paper. And here is just my kids showcasing like what they were trying to do there and like naming each of the pieces. They are very, very proud of the pieces, so I'm looking forward to the art show and how people will react to it. So here are the pieces, final looks at them. Here they're just sitting around looking at their pieces, admiring it. I think it was like a really enjoyable process, so I wanted to document it in this YouTube video in case you guys are interested in doing a kid art show yourself, and are also my kids, if you guys want to see what you were doing back at this age. But flipping over to the other side, I'm now going to bring you over to the actual community center momentarily to see how the whole setup is like. I would say this whole painting process took around at least an hour. I think partially because we have to sort out what material we needed, get like the environment set up so that we don't get messy everywhere, especially because we're painting indoors. And then like the whole painting process was actually a bit shorter. We had to make sure that the brushes stay clean with each piece, or else like the colors tend to contaminate from one piece to another, and I wanted each piece to be more distinct. And then naming the pieces was quite quick. It probably took them 5-10 minutes to kind of think of names for all of their pieces. So here at the community center, this is how the pieces look like. You can see I just used painter's tape to tape on each of the square pieces. For each of the pieces, I wrote a little bio that I just printed on a Word document with their names on it, as well as the name of their piece, as well as like the description and what medium they use. So that's it. That is the quick roundup. I would say it wasn't super well received because this is a child or toddler's birthday party, and this was something that was bonus that we did, and they were just really focused on having fun at the birthday party. So this was something extra, more for me, that I will remember than it would be for them. So that's it for the kid art show. I would love to hear in comments below if you have any questions, and with that said, best of luck for your kid art show. Bye for now and stay creative.